All right, I'm here once again with Wildman Gary Williams for another NewScott Shoot interview. How are you doing today, Gary?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. The last time we did one of these was about 2 years ago when you announced your retirement. Since then, you've come back, you've worked for Wrestle Center, IHW, did some shows out west for Monster Pro, I believe. What made you decide to come back?
It was just one of these things, man. You know, it's starting to feel a little bit better. It doesn't mean that the injuries are gone, but you know, once you get into this business, it's really hard to get out of it. You know, so that's been the situation with myself. I just there's a couple of times that I tried to step away from the business, and it just sucks you back in. You know, I've got a passion for it, and I love being a part of it, and it's just really for the love of it, man. I just had to come back.
Your thoughts on the matches you've been having since you've come back? You've worked Peter Smith, Brody Steele in Halifax.
The first match back from my retirement was against Brody Steele. That was it took everything I had. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's man. Once you lose that ring shape, when your conditioning is not trained, so to speak, for the ring, man, it's bad. Like I was sucking, I was blowing up, and I was just selling. You know what I'm saying? Like I walked to the ring and I couldn't breathe anymore. But all in all, the match went well. The ending, as you would know, was a little harsh. It was hard, considering the fact of my injuries and stuff. Taking those 3 choke slams was. But you know what? I was happy with it. It was. I thought it was a good match, and it made sense. So I was happy with it. The other matches that I've had, one in particular that sticks out in my head. It was myself and Jake Roberts against. It was Brody Steele again and Riddick Stone. That was in Miramichi with IHW, and that match just clicked. There was something. Jake was feeling good that night. He wasn't in pain, so he went out there and he was wrestling lots. We tagged in and out a few times, and it was just the match just felt good. And I watched it afterwards, and it was great. But so far, so good. I haven't hurt myself. I just can't breathe by the time I get to the ring.
How did the matches go out west?
Great, very good, very good. Actually, ironically, one of the matches I worked out west was against one of my students, Kevin Farrell. It was kind of cool to see him over the years. I hadn't seen him in, probably 7-8 years. So that was cool. We had a great little match, and then the other match I had was a tag match. It was myself and Massive Damage, which was a blast from the past. So that was good. But yeah, I had lots of fun. Matches were good.
Last September, IHW celebrated their 10th anniversary show. You were on that show. Your thoughts on that show, and did you think IHW would last 10 years? You were around from pretty much the beginning with those guys.
Yeah, I was around. I wasn't doing their shows at the very beginning. I never... It's funny how all the companies get a lot of criticism. A lot of companies get, who are these guys, They never really got criticism. And I think it's funny how... I don't know if they just did everything right, or they just... I think mainly they didn't step on anybody's toes, and they still haven't. And, they're just an awesome group of guys that, they just do their thing. They don't, they don't involve a lot of politics in their company, and I absolutely love working for them. I think they're great. But, I never thought that IHW was going to go away. There was no reason to. They've always, like I said, they've done the right thing, and they got great shows.
And your thoughts on their 10th anniversary show?
That was a great show. Great show. The atmosphere was awesome at the, whatever that's called, the old O2, the old Cosmo, whatever in Moncton.
You guys did a wrestling reality show there, too.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. It was, whatever that was, 07 or what it was.
2007, yeah.
Yeah, but the atmosphere, mind you, it's not so good for the fans. There's a few because it's like, you know, your ring is down on the dance floor, and then you've got a few stairs, and then your seats and the balcony. I mean, it looks fantastic for TV. It's great for us, the atmosphere. Everybody's close to the ring. But as far as the fans go, there's a lot of standing seats, and people are kind of crammed up. But all in all, it was a great show.
And you reopened your wrestling school last summer? Or spring?
I think it was, yeah, no, it was, well, yeah, we opened up in the spring of, would have been 2014.
Okay.
We were at Titan's Gym.
Right.
We were up there. We did from, I think it was from the spring or maybe summer.
Who were some of the students in that one?
That crop of students, I had Justin. I had, well, the very first guys I had was kind of a polishing up thing, kind of a refresher for the guys, or whatever you want to call it. Kind of what Leo did for me, where I kind of got retrained by him after I was originally trained. But there was James Smith, of course, Tommy Starr, Greaser, Nick Diggs. God, I don't want to forget people here.
Yeah.
The guys that had already been wrestling that just wanted to, you know, get better kind of thing. So we did that for 3-4 months. And then after that, we started the school where Justin
Over in
was.
Burnside.
No, that was still at Titans.
That was still at
Justin,
Titans?
Yeah, Justin
Okay.
was taught there. And then we had Sean. And what else we had? Sean, Justin. We had Brett. What's his gimmick name? Brett?
I think he uses his real name, doesn't he?
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know his last name, but I know.
Wolfman. Anyway.
Yeah. Looks like Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine, exactly. Yeah, and who else was on that? That was Brett. Whoever I'm forgetting, they're going to say, man, what a dick. I can't remember my own name half the time, so it's... but anyway, yeah, it was a good group of guys. And then there was also Chris was on there. So did I do? I can't even remember, dude. If I did 2, 3 classes there, or if I did 2. Dude, I can't remember. Anyway, so we got out of Titans, and then we didn't have anything for whatever, a few months, and then we opened up in Burnside.
Right, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I forgot about the 2014 one, but speaking of that one, I believe that was, you had Edge and Christian's trainer, Ron Hutchinson,
Ron
taught a class there.
That again was at Titans.
Right,
when
that's,
he came down. We had
how was it having him there?
Oh man, I mean Ronnie is just amazing. It's his knowledge, his way that he teaches people. He just, you know, with him, you don't just go there. Like I teach guys with wrestling, and my way of doing it is, when you're coming to me to get trained, I'm not going to make you run 10 miles. I'm not going to make you do 100 sit-ups and push-ups and make you... I'm there to teach you how to wrestle, right? And it's just, to me, that's what I do. Your cardio and all that other stuff, you know, do that on your own time kind of thing. But Ronnie, I mean, man, he just puts them through the PTA, he calls it pain, torture, and agony.
Yeah.
And oh man, it was just, it was amazing to watch, you know. And the guys liked it.
Yeah.
Even though like some of them were puking at the end, they love it. But yeah, I can't say enough good about Ronnie, man. He's a fantastic trainer. I mean, look at his track record. He's got multiple guys that he's trained that's, you know, made big money, became superstars. But yeah, we're actually looking into getting him back, you know, for another, you know, seminars and stuff like that.
That'd be sweet. One of your students from the 2015 class, Madison Miles,
Yes.
Shortly after training school, she went on a 2-week tour of Ontario, Quebec, and maybe New Brunswick. What are your thoughts on Madison and her being able to go on tour so quick?
Man, I thought it was amazing.
She left school for 2 weeks in grade 10.
Yeah. And I mean, man, it's the key to wrestling is to not rely on other people. You know, I always tell my students, you know, I'll do what I can to get you booked, but they've got to do the work. I'm just there to kind of support and help and point them the right way, you know, give them some contacts or whatnot. But Madison, man, she just picked up the ball and off she went, man. Like, I couldn't believe it, you know, because she's been to so many shows as a fan, and she's met a lot of people. She's obviously a sweetheart. She's a great girl, so everybody likes her. I mean, that's huge for her to just get up and go and just do this, you know, without even thinking about it. And her parents, Mike and Vicky, are phenomenal parents. I mean, to give her that kind of support, you know, most parents are like, "What are you doing, wasting your time doing that?" You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's just everything's in her favor. You know what I'm saying? So I've got nothing but, you know, promise for her in the future. I think she'll do extremely well.
And the thought, I should have said she was 15 years old
Yeah.
when she went on that tour. Thoughts of the courage or bravery that a 15-year-old girl has, leaving home, knowing nobody, and going on tour. Like, what does that take?
Well, it takes a lot. I left home when I was 25. Yeah, 25. After I broke into wrestling, and Jesus, you know, that's when you grow up. That's when you learn. You know, when you're out there on your own, you got nobody to turn to. It's, you know, it's all up to yourself, and that's where I grew up. So I mean, for her to do that at 15 years old, oh my God. I was still wrestling in the schoolyards, at recess, and playing with my rubber WWE figures, you know.
Still do that.
I did that till, I did that till I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it takes a lot of balls, but then again, if you don't have that in you, you ain't gonna go anywhere in wrestling.
Another one of your students from your second class back in 2006, Sexton Phoenix, the American Patriot now, just went on a tour of the United Kingdom back in the summer. He was there for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the opportunity he had to go over there?
Fantastic. I just, when he told me about it, you know, I was excited for him because, I mean, he's one of those guys. He's got the talent. It took him a while to get to that level, but I mean, now that he's there, it's you know, he's doing very well. I mean, I worked him, and I think I taught him a little too much my style, because when I worked him a few times, he stiffed the hell out of me. Still to this day, in my almost 20 years of wrestling, probably the stiffest matches I've ever had was against him. So props to him for that.
Yeah.
I'm nice and snug. But no, I mean, I thought that was great. You know, I talked to him afterwards when he came back, and he was pretty happy with it. So I think now he's just trying to figure out, you know, where he can go from here. You know, there's always the local stuff. But
Have you seen him wrestle since he's been back?
No. Which is what I like to see, because you've got, you know, Peter, you know, Brody Steele, when he came back from doing all these, you know, international tours. It just changes.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Mike Hughes was probably the biggest change.
Yeah.
Like when he started going to Puerto Rico, and then he did, you know, went out to England. So he came, man, like he was just he was already a fantastic worker. Then he comes back, and he's got all these little it was just a touch of a different style or whatever it was, but it just, you know, it just shot him through the roof, in my opinion, of his talent.
And that's what it did with Troy.
Yeah.
I've only seen him wrestle.
Dying to see him wrestle.
I saw him once wrestle since he's been back, and completely different ring presence. It's crazy. I've never seen someone change. He's nothing like he used to be. I've never seen someone change for the better, obviously. Never seen someone change to get that good, like just from the 3-month tour in England. Like he's unbelievable now. It's crazy how good he actually got.
Well, there's the style, just a little. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. I mean, Duke McIsaac was another one.
Yeah.
You know, he went up there. He just did one short little tour up there, and it just, man, came back just that much of a better worker. So.
What are your thoughts on the current Maritime Wrestling scene?
Well, it's been really good the last few years. I mean, Wrestle Center really picked it up the last couple of years with all their shows and bringing in, you know, top talent. You know, keeping the guys busy, and had local TV, and apparently they've got the Fight Network now. They've got to deal with them, so I mean, that's great. So everything's falling into place. They haven't done any shows for a while. I'm not quite sure why or what happened. I'm not that much in touch with them, but But yeah, they had a great thing going, so I kept Halifax hopping, and of course TCW, they did the odd shows here and there. IHW, of course, they just keep going. They're expecting a really big year this year, starting here soon in a couple of months, doing a lot more shows. So, I mean, the scene is actually, the independent scene really in North America is really picked up, you know, in the last little while. So that's good to see, considering that there's not much opportunity in the big times. You've got WWE and then you've got TNA. So it's kind of your only two options as far as making a lot of money in North America. But the indie scene has been good, you know, much better than the 90s anyway. Where there was nothing. I can't say there was nothing, because I was working and I was making about $20 a night working for Stampede Wrestling, so that was awesome.
What are your thoughts on the scene compared to what it was like back in the Real Action Wrestling days?
Oh wow, it's funny. Even guys like Kurgan, Bobby Roode, guys that have been through Real Action Wrestling, especially 2001. That was the epic year for Real Action Wrestling. Everybody talks about it. Every fan that I come across, they haven't seen me wrestle. They don't even know or care if I still wrestle. They talk about 2001.
Yeah.
Real Action. People that everybody. I'm like, it baffles me, because I mean, obviously I thought it was great because it was an amazing crew of guys. We were wrestling full time. We had a blast. But the fans, like, apparently they were really, really solid shows.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody talks about it, so, I mean.
Thoughts on the type of work ethic it takes to become a pro wrestler? Training-wise, in the gym, and effort in getting booked other places?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a different work ethic. I mean, the stronger your work ethic is, the farther you're going to get, more opportunities anyway. I mean, wrestling's hard because there's so many politics and so many who you know, and be at the right place at the right time. So there's a lot to putting, you know, to factor up to making it be successful. But as far as you know, work ethic, the stronger it is, the better it is, because the harder you work, I mean, you know, nobody gets anything for free. They got to bust their ass to make it anywhere. So you got to have some kind of a good work ethic, if not a, you know, strong one.
Thoughts on the support Maritime Wrestling gets from its fans?
Well, it's I think it's good. I mean, we still, you know, we all always had that core group of people, you know, the regular fans that come, you know, to all the shows and stuff. And I mean, I think it's great. You know, look at the shows with all the streamers and the stuff. I mean, they make the show so much better. You know, we're wrestlers. I mean, for as long as I've been wrestling, I was always told to try to make the crowd a part of the show at some degree. You know, like whether it's interact with them, don't. But now, you know, they're creating a better atmosphere for us. So it's really nice to see that, you know, we're getting that kind of support. I mean, I think it's fantastic.
Thoughts on the support that the fans give you?
I can't complain. You know, when I play the heel, the last few years, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I was a babyface, they'd boo me. When I was a heel, they'd cheer. You know, they just liked the heels back then, whether it's because of the Attitude Era or whatnot. But I've always, the only time was when and I didn't get it then. I didn't understand that, if kind of like the John Cena effect. You know, if they boo you as a good guy, just do your thing.
Yeah.
But you know, it's hard to understand that. But yeah, all in all, I think the fans have been absolutely fabulous to me.
If you could put one match on a DVD to show somebody what you do of yours, what match would you choose?
Wow. Well, the first one that came to mind was the match I had against Chavo Guerrero. That match was, to me, was fantastic. The matches I had with Charlie Haas.
Oh yeah.
That series of matches were, and I mean, yeah, I'll give myself a little credit because I listen, but I mean, these guys, I mean, when you wrestle guys that are seasoned, like the guys that are wrestling full time. It's such a wow. It's amazing what can happen in a ring. But those two definitely stick out. They definitely both of these matches would be in my top 5, probably top 3.
What do you think 2016 holds for Maritime Wrestling?
2000, well, like I said earlier, IHW, they're supposed to have a pretty solid schedule this year, a lot more shows, so I'm hoping it's good, now that, Wrestle Center, they got the Fight Network, a deal with them, that's got to get better. So there should be, technically should be a lot of shows.
What does 2016 hold for Wildman Gary Williams?
I'll tell you in 2017 what happened. God, I don't know, man. I'm just plugging away match by match, man. I got really no plans, or just roll with the punches, man.
Who do you think is the best wrestler in the Maritimes right now?
Cowboy Mike Hughes.
Why?
I've always thought that he's just the best worker in the Maritime for a long time now. I don't think too many people would argue. Now, Mike Hughes would be my number 1, but now when we're talking younger guys going up, definitely Marcus Burke. Marcus Burke, just the last probably 2-3 years. I mean, he just bumped to that next level kind of thing. And yeah, he tends to, I mean, I tell him every night, every time he has a show anywhere, it's like, dude, match of the night, match of the night. You can't, there's a lot that the obviously can follow, but man, he's he's something else.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to the fans of Wildman Gary Williams?
Geez, well, like I said, thank you for all the support. I got nothing but good things to say about the fans. I've always been appreciative of the fans. Even when I was a heel, I was that guy that I tell my students not to be. Don't be a bad guy, then go chat with the fans afterwards. Right? That was me. But yeah, yeah. I just want to say thanks to the fans. You guys have been great.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you doing this interview.
My pleasure, man. Anytime.